What's up, everybody? This is Astrano. So stoked to be here with you guys. Today we're talking on guides, how to connect with your guides. Last week was on soul integration. So if you haven't seen that podcast, it's a great intro into this week because it teaches you how to connect with your soul, which is probably the primary thing that you want to do. And then you can also connect with your spirit guides, with your guides that are like everyone, at least from my experience, has one guide that is set with them from birth to travel with them, to take care of them in the multidimensional fields, watch over them. And they're doing a lot of stuff in the fields with your destiny lines to, help support you as you live this human life. So if you can communicate with them, like how cool would that be? And how helpful would that be for you to have that information from your guides as well as your soul, so that you can make the right choices, go the correct directions. And yeah, just learn about these multidimensional fields again. Like we said last week, it's such a big thing. It's such a big project to take on. And these guides will help you learn technologies, light technologies, okay, how to heal your field. They can also help heal your field if you give them consent to, which is really handy. And I do that all the time. I get my guides and my high self and my soul to heal stuff within my body. Because they are, living in higher dimensions than we are. We're in a very low dimension in the third dimension here. Our guides, our souls are from higher dimensions and have just more of a pure template, a pure perspective to look from and to, help your body with. Yeah, so is there anything anyone else wants to say on the just guides in general? And we're going to teach you guys the Starseed Races, which is going to be amazing, so that you guys can learn about the different races that are out there that you could have come from, and what their vibe is, what they're all about, and then the Angelic races as well, so that you guys can learn about all of the beings out there, the good and the bad. And then we're going to talk about how you can connect with your guides specifically, so you can take that away and go and do that after today's podcast. So it's going to be awesome.
Heck yeah. Guides, connecting with your guides is such a fun experience, because a lot of the times too, they're so funny, or just they're just lighthearted. They're not in the same they're not in the density, so they can just see above, and they can really, if you're struggling with anything, you can just be like, what is this thing? And then instantly it's like, oh yeah, of course. It's just they can hold space for you and make life less intense, less, because we see things and it's you're in the storm, you can't you can't really see anything, but because they're seeing from above and they know you so well, they can just be like, girl, you're doing good, you're amazing down there, holding space, channeling and healing, because the beings that have chosen to come down here, we are all masters. This is not a light timeline that we're on. This is a heavy duty mission orientated era. So it's a lot to take on, and they are so proud of us, and they're so present, ready for us to call them. They want us to call them in so badly, and you'll experience it when you do call your guides in. They're they're so excited to come in and communicate with you, and they've been waiting for you to give them the permission. And that's the biggest thing, is that you have to give them permission, because they cannot override your free will. And when you come to this planet, you have we all have chosen to play the game, so we need to give permission for them to come in, and they will. They're so excited to be here with us. So it's connecting to family. It's really, really exciting.
I think that was the coolest thing for me, when my guides first came online. It was actually pretty early, before I even started healing work. My guides came in, but it was this feeling of oh my god, I'm not alone, you know what I mean? There is so much out there. And then what's cool about your personalized beings, which is mainly what we're talking about today, we will talk about other beings and angelics out there that you can channel some of their love into your body, because they're so powerful. But specifically, we want you to get to know your personal guides for this lifetime, because those are going to be, a lot of the time, are like your best friends on a soul level from other lifetimes and from, you know, collectives you've lived in, whether that's another race or not. They're usually like your best friends, like Grace is saying. So it's like reuniting with like your long lost friend on a soul level that like you totally forgot about, which is so a really weird experience. Yeah. But they're always trying to like break through to me, being like, yeah, like, remember when we did this together? And I'll just get like so emotional and like try to tap into it, you know, try to like remember. But it's so frustrating when we're like mind wiped and like can't remember our soul family and all that. It's hard. So it's really a cool experience, yeah, for sure, to tap in. So yeah, we're going to teach you guys about all the Starseed races, because specifically if you're watching this, you're probably going to be a Starseed. Like Grace is saying, there's hundreds of millions of Starseeds on the planet right now to support in the ascension process for humanity. Okay. As we move from harmonic universe 1 to 2, which is dimensions 4, 5, and 6, and we're moving into just a more light etheric space where there is less density. So that means that we're dropping a lot of density through this ascension process, and it's all about healing. It's all about remembrance, and you're going to gain a lot more access to your soul, to your guides, to, you know, everything that you are beyond just this one layer, which is your human self, right? Such a small part of the full you. Okay. And the reason we want to describe the Starseed races isn't so like we can just get like stuck on like, you know, oh, I'm this Starseed, because like we like to label ourselves that, which is fine. It's good to know. But it's mostly because your guides are probably from where you came from. You know what I mean? So if you were studying in Andromeda, you probably have main guides that are from Andromeda. And also, if you were studying in Andromeda and like Sirius, let's say, you could have one guide from each. You could have two guides from here, one from here. So you can have many guides from different Starseed lineages and races. So we're going to explain them all so you guys can kind of feel into which one you, and just see like, ooh, I'm really drawn to that one for some reason. That there's a reason for that, and we highly recommend you, you know, do the Google search or the Brave search, which is better, DuckDuckGo, and study these Starseed races and see what they have to say online, as well as YouTube videos. Find other multidimensional teachers that talk about them, or connect with us, because we can get you some more info on if you're like really resonating to a Starseed lineage. And Grace also does healing. I don't know if it's public yet, but she might be able to help you out with that too. Her website's coming, so yes. We'll plug it below if it's out at this time, but I'm not sure right now. Pre-recording this. Yeah, so let's jump into it. Let's jump into all the Starseed races first, so you guys can get an understanding of all of that. Melania's going to let us know the first one we're talking about.
So we have the Andromedans.
Okay, so are you going to bring it to?
Do you guys want to start with this one, or should I start in the like higher?
Yeah, no, Andromedans a great one. So what I know about Andromedans is I am not from there. I do have connections with friends who are from there. And Andromedan is how it's been described to me. It's like our mothers and fathers of the universe. They're higher dimensional. They're wiser. They've been through a lot. So they're kind of at the top of all the regular Starseed races. They're definitely like the mother or father arc of those all. That's like, you know, really holding space. So yeah, do you have anything else on that one?
Yeah, so this is just like a little celestial mapping that I was given by a teacher. But yeah, the Andromedans are very technological, right? Like they like to know about how to build things, how the architecture works. They are builders and architects. Family of origins healing. They are good at collapsing dark, fallen architectures, and original core of creation access control. So they're very important in the original codings of like what creation is, I feel, because one of the teachers that we all follow, Z, she's very connected to the Andromedans, and she works a lot with the original coding of creational love, creational energy. And I feel it does stem from this, these beings.
Their connection to that. Wow.
Yeah, because they're just incredibly high dimensional beings who are very connected to God source. So, yeah, you might find resonance with those beings.
Yeah. Yeah, and for a fun fact, when we do our multidimensional healings, we're usually, when you do your spiritual grounding, we usually anchor into the core of Andromeda, just because it's such a high frequency. So you can send your spiritual cord from your crown out to the core of Andromeda, click in there, and then all of that beautiful energy is going to run back into your body and start to heal your body. So that's really cool, though. Some of that stuff about them. Cool. Okay, next one.
The Lyrians.
The Lyrians. Okay.
Yeah, the Lyrians.
Yeah, I'll talk about the Lyrians a little bit. So, I have a lot of Lyrian codexing for the ascension process. I have 2 main Lyrian guides, which are my main guides that are with me all the time. We're like BFFLs, and we chill all the time, and I feel safest with them. I do have connections to other places, but you'll notice that you have maybe stronger connections with certain guides in your field, and those are your guides that you can really call upon when you're doing deep wounding, like healing work and stuff. Just call upon the ones you feel safest with. But yeah, the Lyrians, like what I know about them so far is that they're really, really powerful. There's still some wounding, and they're really connected to the earth because of the Lyran Wars that happened. The Lyran Wars was the thing that caused all of this inversion in this time matrix in the first place. Like, that's how it started. And it started at a really high dimension because the Lyrians are pretty high dimensional. So I have connections to those wars. I have connections to that initial trauma of like the first degree, I don't know what you call that, of separation within this time matrix. But yeah, they're like really, really powerful, really strong. All of my Lyrian friends that are guys are like huge guys. Like, they look like lions, right? So Lyrians have the feline lion DNA. And so all of the Lyrian men, if you see them out there, you'll just know that they're Lyran, because they're like buff as heck and like super chiseled and sexy. Like, for me, I'm a girl, but I have like natural muscles. I don't have to work out, and I'll have natural muscles, and I'm really strong as well. Like, I have so much energy. So the Lyrans, yeah, they have like just a really powerful complex of like pulling from the infinite source of just to like power through a lot of energy.
That's literally, I'm just reading the first 2 things on this. That's literally like guardian protectors, cosmic strength.
Cosmic strength, yes, this is the first one. Yeah, because everyone knows that. It's so powerful. But like, as for what they study and stuff, kind of like the Andromedans, I'm not sure. They study a lot of, maybe Christic is what comes to mind.
Yeah.
Like, they're really Christic. What I know.
Timeline healing the original angelic human blueprint.
Protectors, really big protectors.
Really big protectors, yeah.
Yeah, so the Lyrians are good stuff. If you need any protecting, you could call upon the Lyrians, and yeah, really powerful
What
light.
about the Syrians?
Ooh, the Syrians. Okay, let's move on.
You're so funny.
The Syrians, interesting.
The Syrians are very high dimensional beings, and I feel that they are like, when I connect to them, they don't even feel like they have physical form, but they, and according to some people, they do. I know that they are beings that work in like the energetics. They're not really focused on the architect like Andromedans or anything like that, but they're very drawn to like energy work. I don't know, this is just how I feel. But so it says that they protect the starseed nations and keep agreements intact, protect higher dimensional travel to Earth from benevolent star races. Oh, and there are negative and benevolent
Syrian beings, yeah, I've heard of that.
Interesting.
The Syrians, yeah, like they're, yes, I've heard that. Like some of these races are like really benevolent, so you don't really have to worry about getting a negative one if you tap into one. But the Syrians I have heard are, yes, you can have a negative Syrian being or a positive one. So you do need to like do your due diligence of checking in, like are you a being of 100% light, yes or no, you know, really checking in before you tap into the Syrians.
Very beautiful.
Okay. Palladians.
Palladians! We love the Palladians. They're so cute. I've heard, I have friends in Brazil who say they've met Palladians and they're on the planet, like, in the last 2 years. They're, like, coming out in Brazil and shit. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, actual?
Because Corey Good said it, but then we have a personal friend there who also called us personally, because she knows we love aliens and stuff, and was like, yeah, I met a Palladian, met my family, like, they're out here on the ground and stuff.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because Brazil's very open and stuff, so.
Ooh, okay.
Interesting, right?
Right now. They're 5D. Like they're very. I feel like what I was told is that when you start your ascension process, still as you kind of move up the dimensions, there are beings that will come to you in assistance as you move through the higher dimensions. So Pleiadians are 5th dimensional, and they are beings who work closely with like the aqua energy, like oceanic, dolphins, whales, like they're very okay. Here's another thing. Lemuria and Atlantis, this was something in which the Pleiadians played a big role in, and this is like the oceanic energy of what Lemuria and Atlantis were, and they're very benevolent and just reading a little bit off this. So they help move into 5th dimensional consciousness, electric blue light, activating high timeline energy, healing mental fragmentation and mental illness. So supports 5th dimensional and higher soul integration. If you watched our last podcast, you could call those beings in for that. Again, with these beings, they are also negative and benevolent. Pleiadians, I feel that the lower the dimension that they work within, it's probably easier to have negative or is that just something I'm saying? Because these beings work mostly in the 5th dimension, or that's where they're the gatekeepers of. But as if you worked with beings, angelics, for example, like true angelics who were above even the 12th dimension, you wouldn't really get, you could get a fallen, but beings who are truly sourced to God only type thing. So there are negative and benevolent Pleiadians.
Yeah, because I've heard of Palladians as like they're really connected to the Earth's ascension process for some reason, whether that's karmically or because they're just choosing to help us in that way, and they're really connected to like, I don't know, just us as mothers and fathers of humans.
Yes.
Human beings, so like they're in a big contract with us to be there as a support system for us, so we're very connected to the Palladians on this earth. They should be super simple to connect with. All of them are though, because they're all, you know, high dimensional races, so they work a lot faster than our little slow brains and mouths and stuff. They can get here pretty easily. Yeah, cool. Okay, what's the next one?
Arcturians.
Arcturians, yes. So these are beings that I connect with a lot. And they were actually some beings that I connected with. Well, the first beings that I connected with were the Pleiadians. Because I truly believe this. As you start your ascension, there will be beings that come into your life to be like, hey, welcome. Like, how you doing? Like, they can just communicate well with you. And then as you move up in your process, in your evolution, higher beings will start to come in, exchange. You'll have teams exchange as you move up your evolution. So new beings with higher dimensional information will come in and support you. And the Arcturians came in for me like 4 to 5 months ago, and they hold a lot of magenta energy, a lot of priestess or priest energy. Like they're very spiritual in terms of vision and holding portals, opening portals, very vision oriented. So third eye templates, they can help you clear looping timelines, looping, purging, strong communication. So yeah, their biggest thing is the higher dimensional vision. If you find that your third eye, because people will see or feel energy differently. Some people can hear, some people can see, some people can feel or know, claircognizant. So if you're very vision oriented, you might have a connection to Arcturians, or that might be a part of your gift template is the Arcturian lineage. And I've been told that I'm a walk-in.
But you're gonna just drop this on here, eh? Oh shit, baby.
So it just says here. So Arcturian walk-ins are the most common when you're working with Arcturian beings. But basically a walk-in is someone who...
I can't believe you're saying this live. Okay.
Why?
Oh, it's okay.
A walk-in is someone that like... So when you come here and you are on your mission, this is what I believe it is. I don't know the true like definition of it is. This is what I'm feeling into. Is that if the mission becomes too much for you to handle, another higher dimensional being will come in and be like, hey, I got you. Let me help you with this. So they'll just come in, and I don't know if the other being leaves. I don't know what happens to them.
Yeah, it's a soul swap.
Okay.
So, like, yeah, I think that's so fascinating, though, because, like, you feel the same. Like, you still have all your memories of Grace's life.
Yeah.
But the old soul left and this new soul is in here now.
I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if she told me that to, like...
Yeah, no quotas on this.
I told Neff, and I was like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know if what happened to me, because... And the only reason I'm saying this is because this says the Arcturian walk-ins are the most common. And I feel that the reason for this is because they hold such high vision. And as we are on the ascending timeline path, walk-ins are quite common because we are on such an intense mission right now. If somebody can't handle their mission, there will just be higher dimensional beings that will come in and be like, let me like help you. And you will often have a contract wherein which this soul will say, okay, can somebody help me with this mission? Because it's not a personal thing in terms of when we get into the ego and it's like, oh, this is my life, like I chose to live it first, why aren't you, like, you know, like it's not about that at all. And yeah, so that's if you feel that you might have had like a crazy traumatic experience and then you all of a sudden woke up, like that could have been a walk-in experience wherein which some higher soul came in and was like, let me assist you in this process. And that does not mean either that I'm saying like, well,
like all the girls in the communities that I'm in, they're like, oh, we're all the walk-in men, like as if because they're like way higher beings, so like they love the walk-ins, like they're always looking for a nice hot juicy walk-in.
What?
Because they're just so spiritually, like they're higher, you know?
Oh yeah.
Because these are spiritual people I'm talking about. They're looking for like someone who's aligned, and the walk-ins are like the highest, you know, like frequencies. Yeah.
Well,
so it's a good thing.
you might be a walk-in if that feels resonant to you. And it's nothing to be scared of. I got scared too, but anyways.
Can you be a Lyrian walk-in?
Yeah, you can be in any walk-in.
You can be...
Okay, so those girls are probably looking for a Lyrian walk-in.
That's like the creme de la creme, the top of the top, baby, if you can find a Lyrian walk-in.
Oh my god.
No damage. That's so funny.
Let's get into the darker ones, you guys. Like, what about reptilians? And
yeah, so let's talk, so all the races we just mentioned are, like we said, some of them are benevolent and they have negative break-off groups, but these ones are kind of known to be more like, more malevolent, more negative, more service to self as a collective unit. However, again, there can be break-offs of some of these groups we talk about that are positive, that have rebelled against the like core negativity, which is resonating within their collective field. So yeah, the first one is the reptilians. Most people have heard of these.
We're left high and dry with this thing, but that's okay.
Yeah, so the reptilians are part of the Orion group. So the Orion star system is where these negative polarity beings come from, and there's like a collective of them that work together against, they've chosen to go against God is really what that means. They've and they're usually intelligent enough, like a lot of these beings are higher dimensional beings too, so they do know the laws of the universe. They do know a lot of stuff about how the mechanics of the universe work. They've just decided that they would like to not do what God wants them to do, and that's like be their true selves and be love and be all the things that they truly are. They've decided to go against that. So they create a lot of chaos in our fields and in our universe, and it's really annoying, but it is what it is. And a lot of inversion. So they use, they invert a lot of stuff, okay? They create a lot of dissonance and inverted fields, so that's why we see like a lot of opposites, right? Like if you turn everything back around, that's like the truth, and then they've turned it this way. So...
And
yeah,
they put a lot of, one thing that I have been learning is that they put interfaces, and like they can really mess up your life. Like enough saying, if they are able to implant like templates or interfaces into your experience, you'll experience a lot of like blockages in your life, or you might continuously run into negative or have negative partnerships, and it's just like you're kind of like drawing in all of these negative experiences if they are able to put these interfaces into your field. Yeah, so they work in the astral. They work in the astral, they work in the multidimensional fields. And then, they use it. Like, should we describe alien love bite really quick? Sure.
Okay, so they will create false unions. So, and they work in the astral realm a lot, so it's really fucking annoying, and I've had this many times, but they will influence you through your dreams. Like, I remember Z saying she would had like 50 dreams of her and this one guy like being together, and it was all fuzz light stuff. That actually wasn't her divine union, even though like all of her dreams were like her being with him, having all these babies, having this amazing life. So they can really trick you in the astral realms in your dream time, but they will like try and get two people together that are not meant to be together, and like cause a lot of pain, because we know how painful that is. Relationships in general, if you go through a lot of trauma, if you go through bad breakups, that can really traumatize a soul, and it takes a long time to heal from some of that stuff. So they really use that against us. We have to be really careful with the alien love bite relationship issues that they're going to cause in the fields. Yeah, good stuff.
Alien love bite.
Definitely had a few of those, so don't recommend it.
And I feel like that's really common to have, like, it's kind of like an initiation. Yeah. If you're like a spiritual being who has a high or a divine union on this planet, if you're coming into that, which many Christed angelic beings you will, they will send somebody your way to be like, to just like, fuck you up a little bit, but it's okay, because you'll be like all the more better afterwards, and you'll realize, oh my gosh, like you just come into maturity through it, let's per se.
Well, Grace, doesn't it make you feel kind of better to think that like these aliens bit you instead of like, I had another shitty relationship? Yes. Like, at least maybe you can pawn it off on that.
It's not your fault. It really isn't. Like, and it feels like people get so stuck in these like cycles and these loopings, and it's like, what am I doing wrong? And when it's like, no, like you might have just had, I know this sounds really whatever. This sounds a little out there. Just like, but people like these negative reptilian beings have put this interface into you, and now you're cycling through this traumatic experience of drawing in a match that is actually just feeding off of your angelic starseed beautiful energy so that you can't flourish into the
stopping your mission,
incredible being that you are. So,
and there's so many things that they use in the astral realm to do things to you. Like, let's just look at our Earth selves and how much we're being affected just here, okay? So, like, all the things that we've been talking about, how there's literal poison in our food, in our water, parasites. These are things that are also going to hold you back. The music that we're listening to, it's going to cause you to be on a certain frequency that's going to be able to make you be attacked more easily. So they use things in our daily lives that we are constantly using all the time to mess with our frequency, all this technology. And it's very, I don't know, they're very smart and they're very good at using every little thing that they can to try and make you not be able to come into your power. But because they're trying so hard, just think about what your power actually is, because for them to be working this hard at something, it has to be great and amazing.
100%.
Yeah, and
for sure.
Okay, yeah, I feel like that's for another podcast, like astral stuff.
We could do a whole podcast on like
Like, I mean, like abduction stuff.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Oh gosh. We really could do a whole podcast on reptilians, but we'll move on to
Archons.
Archons.
Ooh, spooky stuff. Yeah, so the Archons are just like they're a collective. So the reptilians actually fall in that collective, or at least some of the reptilians are part of the Archons. Okay, then there's AI, okay? And I think AI actually might be even at the top of this whole evil mass of Archons and, you know, everything going against us in this universe. So AI beings fall upon there, so that'd be like drones, the really nasty looking whatever Borg beings, or what are those called?
Cyborg?
Yeah, Borgs or whatever people call them. And those realms are really weird. I've studied a lot of the AI realms. They get really, really distorted and weird. So, yeah, like AI, again, that's probably another podcast, like if it's on its own, so we're going to save that for later, but just know that, like, AI is a huge infection within this reality, and the reason that our time matrix is so inverted, and is kind of that pinnacle root of, like, causing a lot of this, like, a lot of our issues and a lot of the pain, and kind of like the leader of a lot of these, like, starseed, not starseed, but reptilians and the other beings that are negative, oriented to the negative side. Yeah, so that's all I know about the Archons. They're, again, the Orion group, okay? So the Orion group is made up of the Reptilians, the Draconians as well, I think. And then there's, like, I don't know what these beings are called. I've never seen someone, but I see them all the time when I'm studying the fields, and they're, like, red, really creepy dragon little things. Yeah, those ones. I don't know the name of those. Never heard someone say.
I always thought that those were the Draconians.
Are those the Draconians? Red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Red and, like, blacky.
Ooh, KKK.
I don't
didn't
know that.
I've never studied the Draconians, so
yeah,
that's probably why. Okay, yeah, perfect. The Draconians are in there. And then there's a lot of, like, dark witch energy. Like, there's dark witches and, like, sorceress and, like, oracles that go higher, like, or dark mother, like, you know, entities. Those are usually higher dimensional, but they are influencing the more physical stars, like the races that we're talking about, and they all kind of work hand in hand, the demonic entities as well. So they're all part of that really lovely collective that we're having to deal with. Yeah, so anyways, is there any more? Or Draconians is last?
Aquafarians, and then Jesus Christ and
Okay. So do you want to talk on these? These are the Angelics. We're going to go into the really high dimensional Angelics and frequencies that you can tap into.
So the Aquafarians are an angelic race or angelic beings, and they're connected to the Divine Mother. So the Divine Mother is Aqualine. She's blue and oceanic, kind of like when you think of Lemuria or Atlantis, like the oceanic dolphins, whales. It's very feminine energy, and the Aquafarians are these very high angelic beings who work in direct correlation to the Divine Mother. They are blue angelic beings, and let me pull up a little bit more fast facts.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I've worked with them before. I actually, when I first started studying multidimensionality, because some of this information is pulled from Emily Joy Harris's stuff, so you can look at her videos on Facebook if you look her up, Emily Joy Harris. But yeah, she taught me about the Aquafarians right off the bat when I was starting to learn, and I was like tapping into these beings, and they're so high dimensional. So definitely a really safe collective for you to tap into. That's going to be fully benevolent. You'll feel very safe with them. It is really high frequency though, so intense on the body. If you're just starting the process, just lightly, you know, and they won't overheal you either if they know it's going to harm you, kind of thing, to go too far.
No, they won't. But it's like, and I can't seem to find it, but it's just a part of like the Aqua Mother, which is the Divine Mother. And if you do call them into your space, like expect to feel very soothing, relaxing energies. Like they come in with like this purifying type frequency, and it's very soothing. So you can call upon those beings. They're very high angelics. Yeah, you won't experience any distortion or any negative experiences when you connect to them. And that will also open up, if you feel connected to the angelic, to an angelic race, or you yourself feel angelic, you can call these beings in and ask for their guidance in opening up your wings. Wing repair is big. DNA repair, all of that beautiful stuff. And then Jesus Christ, that is, I mean, everybody knows about Christ.
Yeah. But so, yeah, okay.
He's
an ascended master, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to put that label with him. But yeah, Z said he's from Sirius.
Really?
He's a Syrian ascended master. Z said that the other day. She just made a video called Jesus Christ.
Oh, I didn't watch right.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys can look up Z or Star Healer. She's another multidimensional teacher. She just did a video on Jesus Christ. But how I learned about Christ and what Jesus really embodied during his lifetime here is like the, you know, divine masculine and divine feminine frequencies of Christ and Sophia. So, like, I think a lot, like, it's just called that, right? Like, for all beings, we all know it's Christ, Sophia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like a thing in our whole universe. Between all of us, we all know like the masculine is Christ and the feminine is Sophia. So that kind of goes beyond like, let's say, Christian religion here, because it seeps over to all of the races. We all recognize that Christ energy as the divine masculine.
Yeah, like the Christ consciousness. And it's sad because it's been heavily distorted in terms of religion and all of these intense, degrading churches, like just stuff where it's been taken out of context. But Christ consciousness is creational energy, and it like Christ himself was basically like the child of God, and it was like this energy is God's love, God's creation, God's consciousness. And so like we live, and when you work within the Christ consciousness energy or the Christala energy, it is like resurrection, it is like pure intention, it is just this deep love. And it doesn't have to be at all connected to the Bible exactly. Like all of this stuff has been so distorted. So when you connect to Christ yourself, or you want to work with this energy, honestly, like I had for a long time this big wound around Christ and Jesus, and was like because it's so pushed, and it's like, you need to work with this and blah blah blah. Not when I was spiritual, but before. And I had like this big wound with this being. But as I've opened up into this space, it is so liberating to have that, because Christ is the masculine, and then Sophia, his partner, is the feminine. But when you open up your space into the divine masculine of Christ, I found that it is very soothing for your own masculine to feel that divine love and that divine strength and courage, and the love that Christ, the ascended master, had when he came to this planet. If you read the Bible or the story of Christ, you'll see his acts of love were endless. Like, he was just a very beautiful being. The Messiah, the beloved. So a little bit about Christ in terms of what this manual says is the hands of healing miracle for all sickness, resurrection from the dead, stopping all demons in their tracks with the law and word of the Holy Father, all of that stuff. And I'll pull up a little bit about Christ Sophia because she's very important too.
Yeah, Sophia. The feminine energy. Yeah, it's beautiful. Every time I tap into Christ, like, how about you ladies? Like, when I tap into Jesus, sometimes I do really call upon him because, or just the Christ energy, but I like to call upon Jesus sometimes too. And he is just like,
yeah, he's powerful.
His love is insane. I've never felt a stronger love in like a being necessarily. Kind of thing. Except Mary Magdalene also has really high love. Holy shit, bro. Yeah. Whenever I'm having a down day, just call in Mary Magdalene's frequencies and you're going to be set.
Yeah. And so I can't find anything about Christ Sophia. But anyways, Christ Sophia is basically just the partnership to Christ. Because like the Bible, so male, like we're resurrecting Christ Sophia. She is the counterpart and is equally as important as Christ is. She is the divine mother, the divine sacred feminine, creational energy. Mm-hmm. So her power is incredible. And like she works within the creatrix, the womb energy, which is the creational portal within all women and men, and it's a very, very powerful. We don't know a lot about who Christ Sophia is yet because she wasn't on the planet as an ascended master as far as we know, but her energy is very palpable if you connect to the Divine Mother, if you connect to the sacred feminine energy, it is her. So very beautiful stuff there. Should we get into who we all like to work with in terms of like galactic and beings of support? Who wants to start?
Yeah, not me.
I definitely are. I feel very drawn to connect with the Andromedans for sure. I just feel like once it's just really, they're just easygoing. You can tell it's like that mom and dad you never had, like just holding space for you. So I love that. But when you're talking, Grace, I feel like I'm probably an Aquafarian.
Yeah.
That's probably where
girl. I was wondering. I was like, she's high Angelic.
Anything to do with like,
you know?
Yeah. Yes.
But maybe you stopped over in Andromeda, because like I was saying, you do have that genetic blueprint, like we're talking about, to heal the human body, specifically like learning about how healing the genetic body. So maybe you have some Andromedan friends, or you stopped over there for a little bit.
I probably went over there to do some research, or maybe God just like dropped me down. He's like, okay, you go here for a little bit. You go hang out with them, figure it out, and then
this will prepare you.
Do that for like this.
I can feel that in you. That clicks really well.
So it's pretty cool.
I think angelic beings did have probably to be sent to some galactic planets first, because
slowly move down. Yeah.
When you literally sit here, you're just like, fuck.
You can't do that. Not how it works.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's beautiful though, Melania. We can send you some information on the Aquafarians because they're like all like you're very mermaid, mermaid energy. I feel that.
I always say
Yeah.
that she's a mermaid.
Crazy.
Always.
The Aqualine.
So funny.
Becca says we met on the shore in Sicily like
Oh.
100 million years ago or something. And I was just like the siren on the beach, probably trying to eat you, but you know.
That's so funny.
Just kidding. Those are
You
just
never know.
Folk chill. We'll have to see. We'll have to go back in your timeline far enough. Check her out.
catching hot Lyrians on
Eating hot Lyrians. Ooh, you yummy kitty, you.
I was thinking about this, like, when we were talking about how Lyrians and felines connect. Like, do you think that the Sphinx of, like, Egypt somehow also connects with the like, feline?
Yes.
I don't know. I always start thinking about this, but I always lose track of where
Like
I'm
the
going
like
with
that
it.
star
Like if it's
race.
connected to Lyrian
Makes
frequency?
sense.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Or somehow, like the Sphinx cat. I feel like the Sphinx cat, the reason why, like, the Egyptians, like, pray to it is because, you know how, like, they have their makeup like that? Maybe they feel like they're descendants of the
I
feline.
think you are 1,000,000% right. Like the Egyptians are Lyrian. Like I don't know if they're all Lyrians, but I feel like that is a star race that was heavily working closely with the Egyptians, especially when they built all of that architecture and all of those like the pyramids and the Sphinx for sure.
The
I
sacred
feel like
geometry. I love that.
On point.
Anyways, sorry, I get off track, but I started thinking about that. So,
What about Becca?
about you,
Can we go to Becca
ladies?
first, or we can go to us first?
I don't know. Like, for me, like, one thing that came through when I was meditating was just working with these blue beings, and I'm not sure the name of them, but I felt very, like, comfortable working with them. And it's how I grid. And I had never done this before, but I just, like, felt like I knew how to do it already. And, like, that's how I practice gridding, is, like, working with these blue beings, and we, like, grid the house in this, like, beautiful blue light. And it's, like, a shield. So I'm not sure, like, who exactly, but I know I feel comfortable working with it. I need to, like, look into, like, I don't know, looking at more of where I come from, because I'm not sure.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I feel more into that. I don't want to diagnose.
Which one do you feel closest to right off the top of your head right now? Out of the races we said. None come up?
I don't even know.
No? Okay.
No.
I think she's definitely, like, something to do with, like, Andromedan, maybe. Really good with, like, you're good at creating. I feel like you would like
What are you
that
getting?
architecture.
I'm getting super strong Syrian.
You're getting Syrian?
Yeah. Or I was gonna I was feeling Pleiadian, but I feel like it's more than that. I feel like it's like Syrians are electric blue. Like that's the energy. So I don't know.
They have really powerful blue light. Insane. Like, that's what Grace uses to close the dark portals, right? Is the Syrian blue light.
Yeah. But yeah, you go with whatever you feel. I don't know, man.
I was kind of picking up Lyran, so.
Lyran?
Yep,
She
don't know
definitely
though.
has, but it can be many.
It's kind of like, maybe a bit, but like, there's something else in there too.
Yeah.
Definitely a strength in you that you don't realize sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. She is really
I
strong.
don't know.
So that's why.
The
Maybe
lioness for sure. Like the lion, I feel that, the lion energy.
Maybe.
And then maybe a little bit of Syrian.
Just a
Little
mix
bit
of
of-
them all. I don't even
We'll figure it out.
Maybe.
We gotta jump in your field and figure it
The
out.
little
Melchizedek.
Princess Diana.
Anyways.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Melchizedek.
What about an orphan?
Yeah.
Orphan,
Angelic.
yeah.
Ooh,
Orphan.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys are both, all of us are high angelics, 100%. Yeah.
I think we're all angels. Angels. from
Back in
above.
heaven with God, eh? Your favorite place to be. Yeah. Missing it so much, are you?
I feel like I just lay at his feet
Back
and I'm
home.
just-
Wish I never left.
Oh.
Just getting fanned with big green leaves and getting fed grapes.
What the hell? That's so funny. I could totally picture you in the angelic realms, and that's what you were doing in the angelic realms, getting fed grapes. She's just taking a little break, guys.
Oh my god, Mila.
That is so funny. Oh my god.
Well, sometimes
Yeah.
you gotta
No,
do
it's
it.
good. It's good to go visit those places
so
because you can bring that energy back in, Oh, so yeah, anyways, guys, it's been a long, laughing mess. But yeah, this was lots of fun with you guys. It's a journey, like we're saying, to figure out, where your guides are, which ones are yours. So again, it's the repetition of just sitting in silence, like Becca said, in meditation and just waiting, for an answer. And you always use commands, okay? So the universe has to run off your commands and your free will. Your free will is you. It's that's your power, right? So when you use a command, you're commanding that into space and time, through vibration and sound. And the universe is going to respond to that because that's the mechanics of how it works. It can't work any other way. Okay? So, I don't know, I'm so passionately saying that random thing, but okay. So yeah, when you make the command, I'm commanding to connect with my guides from this lifetime, my main guides, okay, that are of 100% light and were assigned to me at birth to watch over me this full lifetime. You use commands like that, where you're being very specific about what you're calling in, and you can even say, and that's it. I'm not allowing any other entities into my space at this time, only these entities, so that you can get to know what the frequency is of those entities. And you need to do that over and over, or of your guides, sorry. And do that over and over until you really learn their frequency, until you develop communication paths with them and learn how to speak with them. And learn, like I'm saying, because a lot of the times your guides are talking to you through your thoughts during the day, but if you don't have that developed to know the difference between your thoughts and when your guides are speaking through you, then you'll just think it's your thoughts and you'll think you're this amazing person when really most of your amazing thoughts are your guides talking to you. But spiritual ego check.
Yeah.
I get reminders really often. I'm look at this a little bit better. Look at it from a higher perspective, or it's something that's definitely started to come through for me. Just I start to think about things instead of just react. How about put yourself in another person's shoes, or anyways.
That's beautiful.
I love that. Blue has
Or
the crystal now.
Do we still have to say ours, or did we do that?
No, we didn't. But I don't know if we need to or not. Do
No,
you
you
feel
didn't.
we'll share yours?
Yeah, I kind of just did. That's how I would connect with my guides. That's how I did in the beginning. Just repetition, talk to them, learn their frequency, develop those communication paths and frequency paths. And if you're trying to call them in, you can throw a calling card up, through intention, hey, like I'll throw, like if my Lyrian guides aren't with me at that time or whatever, I'll throw a calling card into the quantum realm, into the multidimensional realm around us, and they know right away, okay, she's thrown the calling card, she needs us, let's go in.
That's nice. Didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
Does that call in any other beings? Or is it just...
No, it's just for your specific guides. Like,
Okay,
you send the calling card to them specifically. To call in any guides, you can use that. But you send it to the guide you're looking to contact.
Mm-hmm.
It's more respectful than just being, like, I don't know, demanding that they be there right away.
Right
like, you just throw a calling card, like, hey, I need you, and you can come. Let me know when you're here.
Yeah, and I found sometimes, like, on different days, different guides will be more available depending on what you're going through. Like, some days my angelic team is way more present. Some days ascended masters are more present. Some days, like... So I feel like if you can just connect up and be like, hey, like, anybody want to chat? And then, like, allow them to kind of come through for you instead of being like... this specific team has to talk to me about this specific thing, because you might, if you start getting really restrictive about it, you might have, you might struggle connecting to them and having what is actually in terms of your highest priority needing to come through. So always keep the door open in terms of what, because we think we know what we need to hear, but we don't always. So keep the door open and just be like, calling in my guides, my angelic teams, ascended masters, connected to the one true living God, connected to the highest consciousness, with love and light, blah blah blah. Yeah, and then allow them to come to you. And something that I like to do, and I'll just say this quickly because some people struggle connecting to them, allow whatever you hear, trust it, because we get so caught up in like, oh, that was me for sure, like that couldn't have been them. Like like just practice like a couple times, like whatever you experience, just trust it. That is what is coming through for you, and trust it. And once you start doing that, it'll come through so easily and you won't even think about it. But we have to get out of the ego's way for these messages to come through.
Yeah, that's a good one. I've also found another tip with my guides is it's way, if I'm like just in a super chill vibe, like, yo guys, what's up BFFs, like, and just chatting like I would be chatting with one of my friends here, like I can chat so easily with them. If you're like kind of really focusing too much and like, I don't know, like Grace is saying, over analyzing, like they have a way harder time connecting with you than if you just free flow, this is fun, chitter chattering with my friends, that kind of vibe. Yeah. Like you'll have conversations like that. It's so easy. And yeah, like Grace is saying, I also have like connections to different races. So yeah, you can learn how to connect, like she's saying, like keep the door open. Because I have a bunch of like Palladian sisters that are like very feminine energy compared to my Lyrian like male-ish guides. So yeah, like I love to work with all of them, and you can have a lot of fun figuring out who's in your field and who comes to you at different times. Because like Grace is saying, as you go up, you'll have new guides come in that are more aligned with where you're at as well. Coming to visit you. So yeah, so this was a big one. Love you all so much. We're going to sign out for the day, and we will see you guys next week. And we're going to just keep going on all of this study of the chakras, of the multidimensional fields. We're going to get through it all together because we do know it can get overwhelming. So, but it's also so fun. It's so exciting. You know, you're not just this puny human, like you're humongous. So,
yes.
Yeah. All right. Love you guys.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.